Hey everyone, how's it going? Juan Dhas here. It's been a little while. I haven't done a talking video in a while. I think the last time I did one was a few years back when I released the Creative Melodic Lines book. So it has been a while, and maybe some of you are wondering, why am I back doing a video? And maybe I'd like to get back to it at some point, doing maybe a couple of lessons again, if you guys have anything specific you want me to cover. But I had people asking me more specifically about doing a tone breakdown and doing a discussion of just what I'm running these days. Things have changed. A lot has changed, actually. And it's all thanks to this little thing here, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But I did a tone breakdown maybe a couple of years ago. I think it was 2021 when I did the last one, and I went through an in-depth rundown of my whole rig. So I'm not going to repeat things that maybe I've done or maybe I have talked about prior, but what I am going to do is kind of make do a deep dive, if you will, on just why I've made certain changes or what's been going on with my sound. So let's start with the guitar. I'm still using the same guitar, the Kiesel or Carvin HH2. I got it back when it was a Carvin. And, same woods and everything, nothing's changed. I would hope the woods haven't changed. But what I have done a little differently is the actions come up. And that was because I started playing slide about a little over a year ago at this point. And even though my action was already approaching somewhere around 3 millimeters, I don't know the exact measurement, but before raising it, it was around 3. And then I realized with the slide, I was still running into a little bit of fret rattle, clanking around and all that stuff. Sorry if that's coming through the mics, and I'll get into that in a bit. But then I just raised the action a little bit, and I think it's somewhere a little above 3, somewhere like 3.2, maybe 3.3. It's kind of on the high side, but this has done a couple of things. One is, yes, I can play slide very cleanly. I don't have to worry too much about fret rattle. If I do, hit the frets by accident, that's on me. It's on my technique, and I've just got to get better at that. But what it's also done is just kind of opened up a lot of the harmonic range of the instrument. I mean, as far as frequencies are concerned, and also it's opened up a lot of dynamic range for me. Also, pertaining to the guitar, I'm using my fingers a lot more these days. I'm almost fully playing fingerstyle at this point. And I'm really experimenting with just playing in different areas. So you might notice sometimes I'm playing right by the bridge when I really want the sound to project a lot more. Or sometimes I'm playing a little closer to the neck. To maybe get a little bit of a softer kind of sound. And because I've raised the action, again, my tone has come up. It's probably sitting somewhere just below 7. I'm controlling everything from my volume knob. I'll get into that in a little bit. So let's talk pedals. Pedals, some may have seen I think there was an Instagram page that did a feature on my rig, jazz pedal boards. If you go find them, you'll see what I'm running exactly. But it's just a strobo stomp tuner, a volume pedal, a harmonic tremolo, which is kind of nice, and my TC reverb as of today. So with the tremolo, I decided to add it in because I've been listening to a lot of Joey Landreth and love the sound, but there's this nice little movement as you play. You know, it's a really pleasant texture, and it's great for, I'm using this mic, I'll get into that. It's great for intros, it's great for just whenever you want a little bit more movement or something that feels like it's pulsating. It's a nice touch. But otherwise, I've completely done away with drive pedals. I'm no longer using delay. And that was partially inspired by this, and probably one of the things I want to get into with today's video is more so that it's not really, you know, changes in tone just aren't chalked up to changes in what you would like. Sometimes they are, but this little piece of glass really made me change my entire outlook on sound and concept of sound, switching to fingers to get not just like, you know, more control with muting, but I realized the character was something I like, and one thing I really appreciate these days is immediacy. And for my taste, the delay was starting to get in the way. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done these. But for those who are new to my channel, I do everything off the cuff. I just improvise as I go. So, you know, it got me to think about, okay, I don't really want delay getting in the way anymore. It's starting to get in the way of the attack. My pick didn't sound as great with my slide, even though there are wonderful players that do play slide with a pick. And it got me to think about dynamics. It got me to think about my tone production, where I'm playing, all of this just from playing with this. Sometimes I do miss maybe some of the projection that comes with a drive, but again, that's easily solved and easily fixed with what I'm getting into next. So you might be thinking, okay, how am I getting the sustain? You know, just if I'm not running any drive pedals, and I'm not really running any compression either. And the reason being is I've cranked my amp and I'm now controlling everything from the volume knob. So in most videos here in my apartment, you'll see I keep my volume at around 6-ish. When I really have to make melodies shine or pop out or even some solos, I'm usually somewhere around 8. And if I go past 8, it's because I really need to crank and really need to push. And thankfully so far, recording engineers have not given me any trouble yet, and I handle all my own recording from here in the apartment anyway. And band leaders haven't also kicked up a fuss. So I think we're okay as far as that's concerned. But I think probably the biggest addition, and something that maybe the majority of you might find interesting, is what on earth is this thing? So, as many might have known, I used to run my Zoom's X and Y pair and an SM57 that's sitting in front of the cab, and blend those together in some way, shape, or form. But it also brought in a lot of room noise, and more room noise than I would care for. So I did some research, and I found this DPA style mic made by Behringer. I believe it's called the Behringer CB100. Honestly, it's a very affordable mic. If you want to try this, it's maybe $50. I just got a violin clamp and made sure it fit and works with the body of my instrument. So what this is doing is picking up all of my acoustic attack, and it's also picking up a tiny, tiny bit of my room sound, hence why I can speak into this mic and not have to use a lapel mic anymore, and you can still hear my voice quite clearly. So, I've got it blended in just a little bit less than my 57. I've still got quite a bit of clearance, so if I need to do harmonics up here, it doesn't really get in the way terribly, but I do have to be careful not to bump the mic. And that's really the biggest thing. It gives a nice sense of ambiance, if you would. It's nice to add this fine detail because, again, the way I'm thinking of sound, I value immediacy a lot these days, how a note jumps out of an instrument, and acoustic character. And since raising my action, this guitar, like if I just play this, has a very lovely acoustic character to it that is quite nice to capture. So I hope this video is really informative for all of you. It's giving you an update on how I'm thinking about sound, how I'm thinking about tone, things I'm looking out for. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to tackle anything else, and I'll hopefully see you in another video. Take care, guys.